What's good? Y'all know what it is. Your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boxing Clinic. One time for the one time. Shout out to the Lions Den Boxing Community, LDBC. Shout out to the YTBC. Shout out to the homie Moni Brown TV. Y'all go and subscribe to the homie Moni Brown. We're going to be collabing real soon once again. Did the live stream, went very, very well. But shout out to Donte's Box Nation, who had Abel Sanchez on the show again. And I don't know how many people caught the interview he did with him like last year, where Abel Sanchez was saying basically they didn't want no parts of Jermall Charlo. And tonight he doubled back down on that, confirming what I already been telling you guys about Triple G. He's one of the perfectly match-made guys in boxing, and they built him up versus the perfect opponents to look like a killer. But in the mind, he's, when you literally look at it, all the factual things about him, he's not a killer. I mean, everybody he fought when he came over to the U.S. was tailor-made to make him look good. And now Abel Sanchez he was getting all defensive about Jermall Charlo, saying no matter what, they're not going to fight him. So if the WBC do their job, and James Toney called him "We Be Crooks," and Floyd called him the world's best champion. But if they do their job and force him to face Jermall Charlo at the Canelo, because Canelo is not electing to fight for the WBC title because he's beefing with them. He didn't fight for the WBC title in their first fight, and as far as I know, he ain't fighting for this fight, and they pushed it and made it seem like it. But y'all know I do my homework, and I made sure he didn't fight for it. He didn't have the He didn't have the 30-day weigh-in. None of that. He didn't elect to fight for that title, and I hope Triple G didn't let them take sanctioning body fees off of that title. But it's a title that they handed to Triple G, obviously. But he didn't have to fight for the title. He didn't have to make no title defenses when he got the title. He was handed over from him to Canelo Alvarez. I'm not going to get into the story about it, but at the end of the day, he didn't have to fight for it. And I always say this story. Jermall Charlo, the younger Charlo at 54, he had to fight for a vacant WBC title versus John Jackson. He was ordered to make 2 mandatory title defenses against Charles Hadley and Erickson Lubin, 2 guys who didn't have no business being in the ring with him, skills-wise. And they forced that, and they have yet to force Triple G, to face the mandatory. Well, I'm going to leave the link in the description. So y'all, people on Facebook, I'm going to upload this to Facebook. I don't do that too much, but I want to get the word out. So y'all click the Facebook link in the description, the YouTube link in the description for y'all people on Facebook. And the full interview at Donte Boxing Nation will be in the description as well. And, Donte asked him, he was like, well, would you admit that Charlo was better than Dominic Wade? And he was like, yeah, but what does that matter? It don't matter. We not fighting him. We not fighting him. Like I told you guys, they made this dude seem like a killer, and I've been telling you guys, this dude is not a killer. And once you actually sit back and look at boxing, with clarity, you look at the BS, you learn the game. And you don't even have to be immersed in the game to learn the game of boxing. And once you're able to see things objective and see things with clarity in the boxing game, you see a lot of BS. And you know how Abel Sanchez was sounding defensive. It wasn't even the words that was coming out of his mouth. He was sounding shook like a steak and shake milkshake. He was shaking. His voice, like I said, man, they trying to make this dude be a killer, but he's not a killer. And I was going down for years now, guys been saying, oh, you crazy, Golovkin this, and I'm laying down the people that he fought. And each one of them had huge deficiencies, had already been beat before, or they was tailor-made for Golovkin, and nobody was listening to me. And I was saying I was the first person saying that he was overrated. It wasn't a fact. I done had nothing against Abel Sanchez and Gennady Golovkin and K2. But when you look at a dude's track record, and you tell me this dude is 32, 33, come over here, and I look at his track record, and he got titles, and he ain't fought nobody, he being moved, and he's being promoted and match made to make him look good. And what really confirmed it for me was in the Kell Brook fight. When Kell Brook pieced this bitch ass up, pow, 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 and Kell Brook was showing that he had balls and he wasn't human no more. And then he fought Danny Jakes. I knew when he fought Kell Brook, he wasn't the real deal like people thought. He said he's a good fighter for sure. But if you look at his resume, man, And if this don't confirm it, man, you can watch the interview, man. If you don't believe this interview, I got the interview he did last year, what Donte did with him. He get real defensive, but to his part, he came back on the show and he reiterated what he said last year, that they don't want that smoke. No matter what, they not going to take that fight. They said they feel that this man don't deserve to face Golovkin, and I'm looking at like, who the hell is Golovkin? You feel me? Now, who is he? You know, this ain't Canelo Alvarez. This ain't the face of boxing. You know, this guy ain't no huge ticket seller in America. He sold 100K, 150K pay-per-views. Who do they think he is? And they really starting to bleed themselves and stuff of that nature. So that's why I don't have no hard feelings. You know, if he go over there and get Rob versus Golovkin. Because I told you guys, he ain't being managed right. He ain't being promoted right. You don't let another promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, tell you don't fight Billy Joe Saunders before September, or you're not going to have a fight. Well, at the end of the day, if you fight Billy Joe Saunders and you beat him, especially when he wasn't on his game out of shape, you're the undisputed champion of the world. You made history. So at the end of the day, you can hold those belts and fight whenever you want to fight. And Canelo Alvarez got to come see you if Golden Boy want him to be a world champion at the middleweight division, or he can go back down, which that is going to be hard to do. And at the end of the day, he was match made good, and then when push came to shove with Golden Boy, they dropped the ball on him. And now that they saying that Jermall Charlo ain't did nothing, and then you hear the fans say, "Oh, he ain't did nothing." At the end of the day, he did more than Willie Monroe that earned the fight. He's a former world champion. Willie Monroe wasn't a champion at 154 pounds. And it was funny when Abel Sanchez said Willie Monroe was more known after winning the Box Hero tournament than Arizona Laura was. And a lot of you guys let that slide by because you fans. At the end of the day, you got to stop being fans and say it for what it is. A lot of these guys lie to themselves, and they know the truth behind these fighters. But at the end of the day, he's a former world champion. What was Dominic Wade? They ran in that mandatory. Oh, Triple G got to fight his man. Who was Curtis Stevens? He was coming off a long layoff. I remember he came back and fought Derek Finley on NBC TV before PBC took over NBC and regular network TV. You know, he wasn't even ranked, for the WBA title that Gennady Golovkin had. And they paid for him to be ranked, and people laughed. And I'm saying he wasn't ranked. You feel me? What about Matthew Macklin, who had been pounded on by Sergio Martinez already? He better than Jermall Charlo? He more known than Jermall Charlo at that time than right now? Absolutely not. The same excuses that Canelo will continue to use. And people already know. Because people been already saying, especially in the Lions Den box community, what Jermall Charlo was going to do to Triple G. And people doubled down and put their money down right on it. And then those Triple G fans want to hide behind and say, who is he? He didn't do nothing to deserve to fight. It don't matter. Same thing they do with Wilder. What did he do to deserve to fight? At the end of the day, he a mandatory or he got a belt. You got to shoot him a fair one. And if you move up, he ain't get no pass from me. He a ducker. But let me know what y'all think.